Hi guys, welcome to my affordable watch collection. My name is Aviv, and today we are taking a look at the Nivada Grenchen Super Antarctic, a watch born in the 1950s and reborn today through Instagram, believe it or not. It is a very nice watch, but is it worth almost $1,000? The Super Antarctic was sent to the channel on loan for review from Nivada, and will be making its way back to them once I'm done with it. This is the second watch I get to review from the brand, the first one being the Chronomaster Aviator Sea Diver that I was smitten by and had to send back with a heavy heart. I've gone into details on Nivada Grenchen's history in my review of the Chronomaster, so if you're keen on hearing more about that, plus watching a review of a really cool watch brought back from the dead, check that video out. In a nutshell, this is a brand that was founded in 1926, closed its doors in the early 1980s due to the quartz crisis, and revived again in 2018. They've been reviving watches from their back catalog ever since. And indeed, the Antarctic was first introduced in the 1950s, and the Super Antarctic is the reincarnation of that watch, brought back to life thanks to an Instagram post. It all started with someone posting their vintage Antarctic and tagging Nivada. The post apparently went viral, with customers asking Nivada to revive the Antarctic. Well, they did. The watch continues the string of less affordable watches we've had on the channel in the past few weeks, coming in at $750 if you want it on a perforated leather rally strap, or $950 if you opt for the beads of rice bracelet. We'll circle back to the price later on, when we get to the pros and cons section of this video. It is available with a few different dial variations. This one is called the 369 Tropical, after the dial layout and the Fotina effect implemented on it. Here's what you get for that money. A black cardboard box branded on the inside, with some social media information on the bottom. A watch box with a cool colorful print on it. The watch box itself is textured and branded with gold-colored embossing on the outside, with some more printing on the inside of its lid. The watch is presented on a velvety cushion, and you also get a paper 2 years guarantee card and a metal hang tag. And here are the measurements. The width of the case is 38 mm, its thickness is 11.5 mm including the protruding crystal, the distance between the lugs is 20 mm, and the bracelet tapers down to 17.5 at the clasp. Lug tip to lug tip is 44.5 mm, and sized up for me, the watch weighs 119 grams. Water resistance is set to 10 atmospheres of underwater pressure, roughly equivalent to 100 meters. The color of the dial is brown, but it isn't just colored brown. There's a reason why it is called a tropical dial, and it's not because it spent some time in the jungle. Let me explain. The dial was black initially, and through an oxidation process which involves a chemical agent and some UV cooking, it received that cool vintage effect. It usually takes watches decades to naturally reach this state of tropical patina. On the very edge of the dial we find a white printed minute track, and a set of applied indices after that. These have a high polish finish on the metal parts and warm colored lume to match the vintage effect of the dial. A downwards facing triangle marks the 12 o'clock position, Arabic numerals mark the 3, 6, and 9, and buttons mark all other hours. Nivada Automatic is printed in white under the 12 o'clock marker, Super Antarctic is printed in a retro cursive font above the 6, 25 Rubies, as they used to call the jewels in the movement back in the day, is printed below that, and Swiss Made is printed under the 6 o'clock marker, all the way below the minute track. That's everything on the dial, no date, and no other unnecessary complication. The hands are flat and polished, filled with aged lume as well, though in a different shade than the markers. I know that's going to bother some of you guys. The minute hand is sword-shaped, the hour hand has a lollipop tip, and the seconds hand is needle-shaped. they all seem to reach exactly where they're supposed to reach. While that heavy patina effect on the hands and markers looks really cool when the lights are on, the actual luminescence effect leaves more to be desired. The material used is some grade of Swiss Superluminova, cooked by Nivada to achieve that vintage effect. It looks nice at first, but fades out rather quickly. That is usually the flip side of 14 alum. The crystal covering the dial is a double-domed sapphire with anti-reflective coating. It has a really nice and low profile that, besides further complementing the vintage vibe of the Super Antarctic and beautifully distorting the edges of the dial, it matches the contour of the case very well. The case is made of 316L stainless steel, and it really has that vintage flavor. I'm not sure if it's a carbon copy of the actual vintage Super Antarctic case, like they did with the Chronomaster, but it sure is very similar. It features a polished and beveled bezel, some polishing on the inner parts of the lugs, and fine brushing on the outer parts of the lugs and on the sides of the case. I especially like those angled polished bits on the tops of the lugs, and the way the lugs sort of angle in towards the strap. They also angle down towards the wrist, which will make the watch wear nice and snug. I also really like how they made the midsection of the case very slim. That will make the watch appear even slimmer on the wrist. The screw-down crown at the 3 o'clock position is small and somewhat onion-shaped. It is unprotected, gnarled, and signed with Nivada's historic shield logo. The case back screws down into place too, and has an embedded gold coin on its center. It is supposed to commemorate some kind of an Antarctic expedition, though there's very little information about it on Nivada's website. It looks super cool, but I wish they'd put more information about it so we can really appreciate it being there. This watch is powered by a Soprod P024. The last watch I reviewed, the Praesidus A11 Type 44, was the first time I've encountered this movement, or at least a modified version of it. I never thought I would get to see another one so quickly. It is a Swiss automatic movement made by a subdivision of the Festina group that beats at a high bitrate of 28,800 beats per hour. It is based off the ETA 2825-2, sports 25 joules, and has 38 hours of power reserve. While I don't know the stated accuracy, putting this specific watch to the test with the Watch Accuracy Meter app shows a strong and steady and very impressive accuracy rate of +2 seconds per day. I asked to see the Super Antarctic on the Beads of Rice bracelet. This is made up of 7 individual links in each row, with the outer links brushed and the inner links highly polished. Just like the case, the finishing level of the bracelet is flawless. These are solid links held together with screws, and the end links are solid as well. The end links do feature protruding male middle links, which bring the effective overall length of the watch up to 51.5 mm. The clasp features a brushed middle part and polished sides, as well as Nivada's logo engraved on top. There are 4 micro-adjustment holes on its sides, which should allow you to get a good fit for your wrist. The clasp closes with friction only, and when you open it you see that the top part is milled, while the rest of the clasp is pressed. Let's put it on my 7-inch wrist and see how it wears. Yeah, I absolutely love it. It looks great and it's very comfortable. Nice and slim. It doesn't overhang off my wrist, though on smaller wrists it just might. This is one of those watches that once you put them on, you don't really want to take them off again. I just want to keep it on and keep looking down at that chocolate dial. There are no complaints in the legibility department. With the assistance of the anti-reflective coating on the crystal, the hands and markings are easy enough to distinguish against the brown background of the dial. Just to give you an idea of how it might look like on the perforated leather strap, here it is on one of mine. This is not the one that comes with the watch if you choose the leather strap, but I think it conveys the general idea well enough. I think it looks pretty cool. let's take a look at the pros and cons of this modern interpretation of the Nivada Grenchen Super Antarctic. We'll do the pros first. First of all, and maybe even above all else, this is a very enjoyable watch. I think it captures that exact romantic feel that is its entire essence very well. It is a watch with rich history behind it, from a time its ancestors were walking the earth as equals with giants such as the Rolex 1016. It does it with grace and with modern day materials. A nice domed sapphire crystal with AR coating, stainless steel construction and beautiful finishing, a comfortable bracelet that looks very good, and a Swiss-made high-beat automatic movement. The design is very nice, with a wonderfully retro case and a beautiful age dial. With that said, it is by no means a perfect watch. On the con side, I think the crown is a bit too small and a bit hard to operate as a result, especially when you're trying to screw it back down. The lume, again, leaves more to be desired from a modern perspective, especially at this price point. But given how uniquely vintage it looks, it is somewhat understandable that it's not glowing like a torch. The bracelet is very good overall, beautifully finished and a great visual match for the Super Antarctic. But I think they made two crucial mistakes with it. The first one are those protruding male middle links of the end links. While it's not a problem for me on my wrist, it is going to hurt the wearing experience on smaller wrists. The second mistake is the pressed clasp. A pressed clasp on a premium watch in 2023 is a bit outdated, though I think that's the whole point of it being there in the first place. It is not a bad pressed clasp, but it is a pressed clasp on a $950 watch. Is it worth $950? I find it hard to justify, to be honest. It is a seriously cool watch, but I just don't see myself spending almost $1,000 on it. It's a great Rolex Explorer alternative for sure, and it is unique on its own right. But it's hard not to consider the alternatives at this price point. If you're watching this review because this is the watch you want, and it is in your budget, I can't think of an actual deal-breaking reason why you shouldn't go for it. And don't forget that $200 of the overall price comes from the bracelet. So it is possible to get the Super Antarctic cheaper if you're willing to give up on the bracelet. And one last thought. Perhaps that romantic side has worth for some people who are not just chasing specs and bargains. Watches are often more than just what they cost. They are dreams, memories, ideas, and you can't really put a price tag on those, can you? Well, Nivada sure did. Whether you think it's worth it is up to you. I've really enjoyed my time with the Super Antarctic, and it's another Nivada Grenchen watch I'm going to be sad to see leave the house. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my affordable watch collection, and hit the notification bell for more affordable watches related content. You can also follow me on Instagram and get to know me and my collection a little bit better, get all the news about the channel, and connect with me on a more personal level. If you're already here, why not check out my review of the Nivada Chronomaster or this other video you might enjoy. I want to thank Nivada Grenchen for sending the Super Antarctic in for review, and to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you next time.